Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodlesblitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about a problem which I've noticed commonly occurring more and more throughout the years of Blitz, and I feel like is something that I should be mentioning in a video. We all obviously know about camping super heavies. They've been a thing for a while. E100s, VK72s sitting in your spawn. It's expected. It's usually from players that are really, really bad at the game, and it usually sucks. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Well, today we're going to be talking about the opposite. Instead of talking about a camping heavy tank, we're going to be talking about medium tanks that drive to the heavy flank. This is one of the most annoying things in the game for me, especially when I'm in a medium and I have one of my mediums leaving me for no reason. And I feel like it's time that I make a video talking about this, because I feel like most people don't realize a lot of the games you lose are not only A, because of the fact that medium flank loses, but B, because of the fact you have some medium which decides to drive their mobile tank to the heavy flank of the map. This game here is a great example. Look at my lineup, okay? I have a T100 LT, I have a WZ121, which I'm in, and a Sent 71. Now, my Sent 71 has no camo, and I'll be honest, I already knew this player wasn't going to be super effective, so that's why I'm sitting back here. If we look at the enemy team, they have a Caro, they have a 907, and they have a Sheridan. So they have 3 tier 10 mediums, and I have a tier 9 no camo Centurion, a T100 LT, and me in the 121. Now, ideally, if the T100 LT, who's in a decent clan, decided to support me on the medium flank, this wouldn't be too big of a deal. But where's our T100 LT decided to go? Well, our T100 LT has decided to go there. This has been a reoccurring theme, especially for sometimes skilled players. Now, that's not always skilled players. I'd say it's about a 50-50 chance. But what is the game plan driving our light tank to this flank of the map? You are doing nothing to actually help out the medium flank, which, as we can see, a Caro 45 ton has already over-aggressed over here. And there you go. So there's nothing I can do here, right? I'm in a situation where now these two mediums are just completely stopping me from being able to do what I want to as a medium. Now, thankfully, this Caro's really bad at the game, and YOLO's for, like, no reason, and I am able to support my Centurion here. But even though the Caro does YOLO, it still bleeds out a huge portion of my Centurion. We can see that. My Cent is at 800 health, and he's going to continuously get shot. Now he's at 500 health. Is the Caro going to get another shell? He does. So basically, that Caro 45 ton traded its tier 10 hit points for my Centurion, which means now it's a 1 versus 2, because they still have a Sheridan, and they still have a 907. We can see that my T100 LT is all the way over towards the other flank of the map. We can see him there, 1,398 health. We'll have to keep an eye on that T100 LT. Now, the reason why you will see medium players and light players driving towards the heavy flank is because they want to farm the heavies. They want to get damage. And then they're thinking, okay, after I farm out the heavies and I kill them, I can turn back and I can farm the mediums out. In reality, that doesn't work, and I'll be showcasing why in my second battle today. But there you go. There goes my T100 LT. Why? Why do we do this? Dead. There was no advantage there to what you did. You could have gone over here to medium flank with me. You could have helped me win this side of the map, and we would have had a very easy win, no problems whatsoever. But instead, you decided to drive a T100 LT to the other flank of the map, did second worst on the team, and did nothing to help anybody. Now imagine those mediums on the enemy team were decent. Imagine the Caro, imagine the 907 and the Sheridan were smart enough to work together and push well on the medium flank. There's many games, as you guys are aware, where an enemy medium flank will just push immediately. And that Caro did. If the 907 and the Sheridan had all pushed at once on that scent, that player would have died immediately. I would have had to bail off. I probably would have died. And then our team would have been flanked and having to deal with the enemy presence on the front, and they would have had fighting two fronts. That is not what you want. Thankfully, their team was not great that game. But we can see a good example of where a team loses due to this exact phenomenon I'm talking about here, right? We can see this game has a TVP and a T100 LT on the enemy team. Now, I'm not going to put blame on that T100 LT just yet, but what I will say is that if that player consciously decided to drive to the heavy flank of the map with their light tank, and it wasn't because of the fact their TVP went there, then once again, they are partially the reason why their team lost this game. You're going to notice in this battle that the enemy heavy flank does fine. It's the medium flank that falls apart, because I'm in my Marat, and I have a Bosch Ation 25 ton. Now, my Bosch Ation is going wide, and has not spotted anything over here. And I'm looking over at the heavy flank, and I see both the T100LT and the TVP spotted over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate my speed boost, and I'm immediately going to start flanking. And because I flank, I'm now able to get to the side of the T100, I'm able to get to the side of the 183, I'm able to get to the side of the Camping 57, and now the enemy team loses because there are 2 light tanks, 2 tanks bleeding out their tank destroyers. There are 2 tanks on their rear stopping vehicles from being able to do what they'd ideally want to. And because of that, even though our heavies, I mean, look at our heavies. They're bled quite a bit. Our Super Conk is down 1,400 health. The 60 TP is down 1,000 health. And their heavies are all full health. So their heavy flank was doing fine. And you're going to see that throughout this game, right? If I skip a little bit ahead here in this battle, the reason they lose is not because of these heavies. The reason they ended up losing this game is because the 2 mediums that they had on their team decided that moving to the medium flank was not the optimal play, so instead they decided to move to the heavy flank. When you have players that do this, you will lose the game. It is that simple. I cannot tell you how many times I've played on Lagoon, and I will see mediums push all the way far into the heavy side, all the way down by the little water stream. And they'll die. They'll go over there, they'll do nothing, maybe they'll even do a little bit of damage. It doesn't matter. You're not actually making an effective impact in the game. You are going to lose. It's that simple. If you want to win, you need to do what the role of your vehicle is designated as. If you don't want to win, then do exactly as these players have done in today's video, because it's such a great example of how not doing your role as what your tank is meant to do, you're going to lose. Personally, I don't understand why you would drive a medium tank if you want to drive it to heavy flank. Just drive an E6, drive an Object 260, drive a 50B if you want to drive a mobile tank that also can play on heavy side. If you want to do the role of a heavy, then drive a heavy. If you want to do the role of a medium, then drive a medium. And if you want to camp and spawn in a German super heavy, then grind a freaking Jagdpanzer E100 or get a Badger or an E3. You can still sit in the back with a heavily armored tank, but at least then you're actually doing the role of what your tank's meant to be. It's so easy to understand which tank you're driving, and for some reason people just pick tanks that fulfill one role and then choose all of the above on the other roles. It's so confusing to me. I've never really understood it, and I felt like it was worthwhile making a video on this because I haven't seen too many people complaining about mediums going to the heavy flank, but you shouldn't be. I mean, sure, there are times when you can. There are times when I will notice my team is not supporting me, and I will go to the heavy flank in my medium to support my team. But most of the time, that is only because I don't have support, and then I'm forced to go to the other side of the map. Mainly because, you know, for example, if my boss Shotzion had gone over to heavy flank that game, I probably would have been very passive. I still would have held medium side, but I definitely would not have been, you know, pushing it. And it's a good example of how you are so reliant on your teammates, especially when there's only 2 mediums on each side. One of them not supporting you, that can be an instant loss. So, yeah, this is an advice to people out there. Please drive your tanks the way they're meant to be drived, and if you see people not doing the role that they're supposed to, call them out, because they deserve to be. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more like it, you know what to do, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!